Hi, everyone. Welcome to this presentation titled Lessons Learned and Best Practices. We are the New Gen Leaders. Um, so, Darn, I messed up there. I don't even know what to say
Um,
because I mean,
yeah, just hello, we are the New Gen Leaders. Welcome to our presentation of lessons learned and best practices.
yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this presentation of Lessons Learned and Best Practices. We are the New Gen Leaders. We'll begin shortly here. So, in our introduction, there are many lessons learned from group tasks, from establishing credibility to managing interpersonal communication and emotional intelligence, to creating effective messages and delivering bad news, among many other things. Developing these skills not only establishes better communication, but also promotes better teamwork through the development of each person's character, credibility for the organization, as well as for the associates, and the delivery of effective messages. Companies can keep track of progress by delivering routine messages and performing evaluations of the tasks assigned, as well as establishing a timeline to complete. Team bonding activities are also a great way to get teams to know each other and work effectively. A lack of communication can ultimately lead to low morale because ineffective communication can create misunderstandings, miss opportunities, conflict, the dissemination of misinformation and mistrust, and overall employees might just feel defeated. In this presentation, we'll cover the lessons learned through this experience, the best practices, as well as team evaluation, followed by a conclusion. So establishing credibility. There are three components of credibility. It is important to have competence, show care, and have or develop character. Competence refers to having the knowledge and skills needed to accomplish business tasks, approaching these and getting the job done. Caring implies understanding the interests of others, and character refers to a reputation for staying true to commitments made to stakeholders and adhering to high moral and ethical values. A clear example of this has been the backlash that our home baseball team has received after the cheating scandal that the team was involved in. By not showing great character, not only the team players, but management as well, the team has received a lot of negative press and has not managed to establish credibility again. So bad news messages. Maintaining credibility in the delivery of bad news messages is a great task to achieve. Those who deliver bad news appropriately enhance their credibility. Telling people the truth shows character and also shows your commitments to transparency. As with any message, it is important to apply the AIM planning process, which is knowing your audience, planning the information to be conveyed, and planning how to execute the message. As with any business message, it is important to deliver on news concisely and try not to sugarcoat any bad news, but most importantly, to do so in a timely manner. As an example of this recent negative press that Johnson & Johnson has received after a few cases of severe reactions to the COVID-19 vaccine, Johnson & Johnson delivered a public announcement on April 13th, 2021 to mitigate the damage to its reputation, as well as acknowledge their ongoing commitment to safety and the well-being of the public. And then team communication and difficult conversations. One way to stay focused on performance is to use solution-oriented priming statements. Priming statements trigger a mindset that affects subsequent behavior with a focus on performance, such as, let's get together and work on this project. Team culture refers to a shared, a set shared of perceptions and commitment to collective values, norms, roles, responsibilities, and goals. Teams normally develop such shared values and commitments during the norming stage. Developing quick trust includes self-disclosure or sharing of information about yourself, commitment to working together, Maintain constant communication and set up a schedule and evaluate performance regularly. It is also important to encourage participation and expression of ideas, even if you may not agree with those ideas. It is important that the group does not suffer from groupthink, which can lead to self-censorship and the illusion of unanimity. Not all teams will work disruptively. It is important to establish good leadership with clear agenda, goals, and roles. If the problems persist, pull the team member aside, talk about the behaviors, and explain how that impacts the group's performance. Approach difficult conversation in a timely, honest, and caring manner. Do not evade difficult conversations. Rather, see them as an opportunity and adopt a learning stance and learn other stories, but most importantly, stay calm and overcome noise.
We also learned how emotional intelligence can improve interpersonal communication skills. Studies have shown roughly 90% of exceptional workers are high in EQ, and they have the 4 attributes of EQ, such as self-awareness, which helps one understand their personal strengths and weaknesses in communication. This can help managers understand how to discuss the importance of their objectives and deadlines when starting a new project. Self-management, this can help workers control their emotions and turn negativity into positivity. This can help with having difficult conversations, such as managers having to give reprimands to their employees for not meeting goals or following a policy. Empathy can help an employee understand their colleague's point of view, and this can increase productivity when collaborating within a team. Relationship management can help an employee manage the variety of work relationships they might have, such as within their team or with their bosses. Communication channels, such as traditional and non-traditional, we learned how and when to use them. First, we need to understand their limitations, such as their richness, how quickly can one respond, and how many cues are available within that communication channel. The control can be planned or recorded, like a Zoom meeting. The constraints are the personal limitations of the employees. Is everybody available to attend the meeting? Some traditional communications, such as emails, this can be used for routine messages for weekly objectives. Face-to-face meetings can be more beneficial for if you're starting a new project and you're having to assign deadlines and objectives. Phone conferences, this can apply to any information that requires a quick and detailed response. Some non-traditional communications, such as social media, this can help professionals build networks externally and internally. Instant messaging can help with quick responses and also build relationships within the team. Video conferences can be more beneficial for employees whenever they're working from home or they're in different geographical areas. We also learned how body language can affect communication. This can help you understand the corporate culture within your company, and it can also determine if your colleagues are truly listening to you. So are your colleagues making eye contact and trying to build an emotional connection with you, or are they avoiding eye contact and showing disinterest or showing that they could be nervous? Do they have a genuine smile when you're speaking to them, showing that they're listening and they're understanding what you're saying, or do they have a sarcastic smile, which can mean that they feel there's no point to the conversation? And also, what kind of atmosphere are they creating with their hands and arms? Are they creating an open environment and welcoming with open arms and creating bonds with handshakes? Or are they showing discomfort by hiding their hands, or even anger by aggressively pointing and placing hands on their hips?
All right, so the best practices for social media for business communication are to focus on content, make the content accessible, and be active. So you want to make sure that your content is focused in a professional manner, make sure that it's focusing on work projects. You also want this content to be accessible to your work peers, people that you would like to connect with, and you also want to be an active contributor. So that means responding to messages that you get and making posts. And so when we create effective messages, There's a model to follow: plan, write, review. So you want to plan out your message. What are you trying to say? What message are you trying to convey? Then you want to write it and then review it. Make sure that you've covered everything and there are no mistakes. You also want to be audience centered. Make your message around what does your audience need to know. And you also have to be confident to display credibility. And so using email and traditional tools for business communication, you just want to make sure you're using the proper communication channel, emails when it's appropriate, sending messages, instant messages when it's appropriate, having face-to-face conversations at the appropriate times. And then when you're sending a written message, you want to make sure that that message is easy to read. And so when you send an email, you don't want it just to be one big paragraph. You should break it up so it can be easier on the eyes and your reader doesn't get lost while they're reading. And you also want to be responsive. When somebody sends you a message, an email, text message, whatever it is, you want to be sure that you respond in a timely manner.
We also learned in best practices to be sure to communicate across cultures. Developing awareness of individual culture is necessary even for the basic level of understanding required to engage in appropriate greetings and physical contact, which can be a tricky area in interculturally. This requires the ability to see that a person's own behaviors and reactions are often culturally driven, and that while they may not match our own, they are culturally appropriate. Consider any special needs the individuals on your team may have. For instance, they may observe different holidays or even have different hours of operation. Be mindful of time zone differences and work to keep everyone involved aware and respectful of such differences. Spoken and written communication. Master the audience and format. When it comes to written and oral communication, the audience and the format are important aspects for you to master. No matter how well written the correspondence is, if it is not speaking to the right audience, then it's not going to be effective. Listen to yourself when you're talking. Listen to yourself while you can always edit what you've written. That's not always the case when you're talking. You may think that your written work is already excellent, but once you start to read it aloud or listen to yourself talking, it sounds off. Hence, as you write and create your work, listen to your thoughts and ideas. This will let you see how your thoughts are flowing and allow you to make the necessary adjustments as you go. Another suggestion is to read a book on grammar. Books are excellent sources because they have been edited and revised by competitive publishers. This means that you can take their word for it. As you endeavor to improve your verbal and written communication skills, grab and read a book on grammar. Body language and face-to-face communication. Positive body language supports your points. It helps you convey ideas more clearly and avoids sending mixed messages. Positive body language can help you to engage people and mask any presentation nerves. Positive body language can help you to engage people and project confidence when you speak in public. You can also use body language in a positive way to add strength to your verbal message. A few tips to help you do this is to have a positive posture. Don't be tempted to put your hands in your pockets or slouch, as this will make you look disinterested. Keep your head up. Leaning too far forward or backward can make you look aggressive or arrogant. Practice and perfect your posture. Stand in a relaxed manner with your weight evenly distributed. Keep one foot slightly in front of the other to help you hold your posture. And use open hand gestures. Spread your hands apart in front of you with your palms facing slightly toward your audience. This indicates a willingness to communicate and share ideas. Team evaluation and lessons learned. Components of good team management. Build a team culture. Teams should focus first and foremost on performance. A good way to do this is to build a team culture. Team culture refers to a set of shared perceptions and commitment to collective values, norms, roles, responsibilities, and goals. These shared perceptions and commitment lead to high productivity. Embrace diversity. A better component of team management is to embrace diversity. High-performing teams embrace conflict. They see difference of opinions as a path to creativity and innovation. So they encourage one another to share their ideas, even when they differ from their own. Meeting deadlines. High-performing teams focus on what matters most and spend their time accordingly. They understand that not all work has equal importance or urgency and manage projects based on highest priority. Meeting obligations, accomplishing goals timely, and delivering what is expected on time is always the best component of team management.
So for the areas of improvement, we want to set clear goals, make sure that everybody on the team knows what they're supposed to do, and make sure everybody knows what's expected of them. Then we want to be confident. So that's how we'll display credibility is in our confidence. If somebody senses that you're not confident, they won't trust your message. And we also have to do better in engaging the audience, making our message tailored towards them and make sure that so they can stay interested in throughout the whole presentation.
And team evaluation best practices. There are a few characteristics of good teams, which include communication. So good teams communicate well with each other. They focus on goals and results, as well as having contributions from every member of the team. Having a fair share of contributions just makes a great team. Also offering support to each other in different needs. And then team members are also diverse in successful teams. Leadership or good leadership also contributes to a good team, and of course, organization.
So the areas that we consider our team to have excelled in would be written and spoken communication. Spoken communication would be whenever we meet through Zoom to virtually discuss our group projects. Written communication would be when we use instant messaging to keep each other updated on our progress. We also felt we did well on effective group writing. Whenever we met through Zoom, we planned together, we determined responsibilities based on our strengths, and then we had a single member polish the final drafts. And we also did well communicating across culture. We established trust by committing to our individual and group objectives, and then we showed empathy for each other's other priorities when scheduling Zoom meetings and creating deadlines for our project. So in conclusion, for the lessons learned and the best practices that we have adopted, this has improved our overall communication skills in different aspects of the business world. We're able to build a team culture as well as adapt to the corporate culture. And we now understand how and when it is appropriate to use the different forms of communication channels, such as traditional emails or non-traditional like instant messaging. And this has helped us improve our productivity as a team, thus improving the productivity of the company.
And so that is all. It's been a pleasure working together as a team. I guess that's it.